Hello world, it's Berto Prey 5 Qapla, and welcome to my quick update on Star Trek Prodigy, the latest, not necessarily greatest, Star Trek series coming out, originally supposed to premiere on Nickelodeon TV. We now know it's going to premiere on Paramount Plus. Of course, Paramount Plus doesn't exist yet. It's still called CBS All Access, but in a few short weeks, it will be called Paramount Plus. It will have the same stuff as CBS All Access plus more. And so it will premiere as a streaming series and later in this year of 2021 premiere on Nickelodeon, the cable channel. But this way, if you already have CBS All Access, you will be transitioned to Paramount Plus, and you'll be able to watch it first on Paramount Plus. So we didn't know much about this show until yesterday, and we got our first glimpse at the characters. What we did know before this was that Star Trek Prodigy is aimed at a younger audience. They say 5 to 15 years old. Basically, it sounds to me it's aimed at the same audience previous Star Trek was, because they said the whole family will be able to enjoy this, that the 5 to 15-year-olds will be there, but their parents and their grandparents and the whole family should be watching. I was like, oh, so like real Star Trek, right? Like Star Trek, the original series, like Star Trek, The Next Generation, like Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, like Star Trek, Voyager, like Star Trek Enterprise, or like any of the first, 9, 10 Star Trek movies. You could enjoy it with the whole family because there wasn't going to be somebody saying F this, F that, and, killing babies and holding their heads up from their decapitated carcasses and yelling about calling me mother. Like literally these things have happened. And don't even get me started on Ichib's eye. This is what modern Trek has become. So I felt, what, maybe Prodigy, a return to our previous Trek values, might actually be the breakout hit Trek I was hoping for in New Trek. I didn't give it a ton of credit. I just said, what, it's possible. It's within the realm of possibility that Prodigy might be the best of New Trek. They even got Captain Janeway to star in the show. Kate Mulgrew is starring in the show. I don't know exactly how, because if it's a group of lawless teens who have commandeered an abandoned Starfleet vessel, why would there be an actual Starfleet officer involved? I don't know if she's constantly chasing the kids, in which case she's incredibly incompetent that she can't ever catch up with them. Or maybe she's in like a undercover mission to kind of give them some hints on what to do. Maybe it's a Section 31 situation where they can have these kids do things the Federation wouldn't do itself. I don't know, but I figured whatever. I also don't understand how we have a Captain Janeway, because as soon as she got back from the Delta Quadrant, she was like immediately promoted to Admiral, as we saw in the Star Trek Next Generation movie. So she really didn't have any time as captain. I'm assuming they just forgot she was an admiral, so whatever. I don't think we're going to see the fact that she was demoted or anything. It's just, they'll just call her captain because that's what they're used to calling her. Not a big deal. But I figured, okay, so what are we going to have? We're going to have some lawless teenagers. So, I figured by lawless teenagers, they probably meant there'll be some young 20-something actors that nobody's ever heard of before, a relatively cheap show to pay these new actors, except for Kate Mulgrew. I feel, okay, well, we're going to have a young Vulcan, maybe a young Romulan. What else could we have? Oh, definitely a young Klingon, who wouldn't want to see an adolescent Klingon? we never got to see Alexander truly grow up. In TNG, he was a little boy, and by the time we saw him again in DS9, he was an older teenager, but he was basically an adult, a young adult. We never got to see the formative years of a Klingon, so of course everybody would want to see that. And plus, it's animated, so you could throw in a Cation or some other species that's hard to make a real world costume for. But I figured, and of course, being it's Star Trek, there would of course be at least one, if not two or more human cast members, because it's not necessary, but it's often easier to, understand what's going on through seeing other humans. It's not required, but it helps. That's why almost all successful sci-fi shows have at least one human. Okay, but whatever. Then yesterday, for the very first time, we see the main cast of characters for Star Trek Prodigy. And we also get to see the official logo, Nickelodeon, Star Trek, in the original TOS font. And Prodigy, we get this rainbow-colored, brightly colored Prodigy logo. I like it. It's not bad. It's got the extended Delta shield going from the O to the D. It's something. It's something. The only problem with this is the cast. Because what did we get to see for the first time? Yeah. I don't know what they're doing to me. This is the main cast of Star Trek Prodigy, who are supposed to be lawless teenagers. Okay? Lawless teenagers. There's not one human here. I can't identify any of these species. They seem to be all new species for this show. And like, why? Why? We have a Star Trek universe. We don't need to make brand new species for every show. What the hell is this thing? It looks like a Pokemon ball, sprouted legs, and the legs don't even match. Look at that. The legs don't even match, and neither do the arms. One hand is a human hand, and the other hand looks like, I don't know, a freaking Borg drone or something, some type of industrial tool. This shouldn't even be a thing in Star Trek. Literally a Pokemon ball. And oh my God, I don't know what this is. This troll-looking creature. Honestly, I looked at it and I said, this must have been Tuvix. Tuvix, not Tuvok. Tuvix must have had his way with a genetically incomplete leopard of some sort, and they went to warp 10, and then this is what crawled out of the Tuvix's egg or something. And this is supposed to be a teenager. This thing looks like it's 50 years old. We got tall girl, exceptionally tall, unhealthily skinny, an incredibly tall girl. She's got vines going down one arm. Obviously, I think by the center position, she's probably the star of the show. We've got, and I have a hard time explaining what I'm seeing here, but I'm just going to call him or her. I'm having problems with the pronouns here, but I think it's a him. I'm going to call this guy Fish Boy because his head just looks like a fish. Now, I have no idea what this long thing coming off the back of his head is. At first, I thought it was just a long piece of hair, but then if you go down and follow it around, it's actually touching Vine Girl's arm. I don't know if it's part of her, because then you can see some more vines underneath her arm here. Is this like an avatar deal, or what's going on? It's not hair. It's not hair. That's all I know. It's some type of tail. And finally, well, not finally, excuse me, that we got the 5,000-pound elephant in the room, the rock monster, which actually looks fairly cute as rock monsters go. I feel bad. Look at his tiny little legs. I don't know how this creature is supposed to run or even walk to keep up with his friends. And then finally, we have Blue Yaphet. Yes, Sassy. We have Blue Yaphet. Yaphet, of course, the green blob from the Orville. Somebody said, "Hey, we like people like Yaphet. Let's make our own Yaphet." So they made Yaphet blue and purple instead of green. And so this is our main cast. Plus Kate Mulgrew, who they repeatedly said is starring in the show. So I don't understand how these people are going to interact with Kate Mulgrew. We're going to have a serious Star Trek captain, perhaps Admiral, interacting with the most dumbest cartoon-looking characters ever created for Star Trek. And that includes everything we saw in Star Trek the Animated Series and Star Trek Lower Decks, which look remarkably more Star Trek than this. Now, I told you guys, now, if they put the Star Trek brand on it, that I have to watch it. Okay? If the Star Trek name is on it, I have to watch it. And I will still do that. But I want you to understand, not in my worst nightmares did I think this was legit going to be the cast and crew of Star Trek Prodigy. Maybe this would have been another Marvel crew, the Guardians of the Galaxy meet the Guardians of some other galaxy. But I don't know what to do with this. I don't understand who are they going after. I mean, if I was a Star Trek fan, and I am a Star Trek fan, and I have a young nephew, as you guys know, Charlie, nephew O'Prey. I'm not going to push him to watch this. This looks ridiculous. I'm going to push him to watch TOS and TNG and DS9 and the Star Trek I know is good. Now, I'll watch this, and it's possible it will be good. And if it is, I'll mea culpa, and I will let you guys know, hey, I was wrong. I've done it before. It's rare, but it happens. But come on. What are you doing? To make a Star Trek kids show, you'd have to be an idiot to fail. You have dozens, hundreds of existing alien species. Okay, you know what you need. The formula has already been figured out. Okay, you need the really smart person. You need the person who's trying to become more human. You need the overconfident captain or whoever's in charge. You need the person who's lacking confidence. You need the comedian. You need the engineer who's a miracle worker. The formula works. It's worked for 50 plus years. It's still working today by virtue of the fact that everybody trying to buy stuff is still trying to buy stuff for old Trek. Okay, I've been looking, trying to find old TOS, TNG, Voyager, DS9, Enterprise action figures. And let me tell you, they're still going for a very pretty penny. And there's more of those being sold than there are of Star Trek Discovery or Lower Decks or Picard. Nobody gives a shit about any, relatively speaking. I'm sure you say, I like it. And I understand there's a few people out there who really liked Star Trek Discovery or really liked Star Trek Picard. I'm not saying you guys don't exist. But even you have to understand, and I'm sure you do, that when you look at the wider world of Star Trek, more people prefer TOS, TNG, DS9, and the rest to anything that happened from 2009 onward. And every single time they come out with something like this, I just have to ask why. What are they doing? Why do they hate us? Are they trying to teach us? Are they trying to punish us? I don't know. That said, I will keep updating you if we hear more from Star Trek Prodigy. I don't know when it's going to start. Hopefully soon. It's been animated, so I assume they were able to do this stuff, even though people, even with the virus. They are saying it's 2021. I do hope that means, April, May, June, July, and not November, December. But we don't know. So that's our update on Star Trek Prodigy. I know it's not a lot. I wished I could bring you better news. Let me know in the comments if you're looking forward to Star Trek Prodigy, or any Star Trek series, if you're looking forward to it. I'm honestly curious. And until then, Qapla, take care, and I will see you soon. Bird out.